Is Paul? Yeah. Again, the boot was received. I don't know what that boot is. Yeah. It could be that every phone receives a boot, BOOT. And I oftentimes wonder why it is that the boot is received. Yes. Now, I just got here and it's 2:26. And I'm a little concerned because I think I sent must have been about 2,000 emails, and I didn't get any phone calls. Now, this concept of parenting, yes. I had mentioned in the email that my sons were in the wrong grade, right? That I did not want them graduating after the age of 19 years old. Yes. And I emailed the civil rights coordinators and they didn't communicate. Ouch, as if it was normal. Yeah. Now, as a parent, there's more to parenting than just saying I'm the biological father, that it was my sperm that made them. Because this morning I was talking to you about consensual sex, right, and the probability of conceiving. Now, for those that are adults over the age of 18, yeah, uh, you should actually research the different contraceptives so that you know what the reported effectiveness is of them. um, if your intent is not to conceive a child, yes, you should really decide, should I even be having sex? Now, marriage seems to be something where usually, yes, uh, two individuals marry and they make a commitment to one another that they're going to spend the rest of their lives together. And then it's understood through discussions of 10 years of marriage about whether or not you want to have children. Now, that is consensual sex within the marriage and the realization that if conception happens, yes, I'm not going to prevent anything from it happening. I'm not going to use any contraceptives. Now, a lot of married couples, they have this experience where they want to have children. Yes. And the probability, I mean, we talked about the whole ovulation cycle of women where you can get pregnant approximately 3 days before ovulating and possibly 2 to 3 days after. Yes. Because from what I've read, sperm only lasts for 3 days in the actual womb of a woman. Yeah. Through the cervix channel. Yes. Through the vaginal muscle. Now, it was consensual sex for 10 years of marriage. Yes. I never forced myself on my wife. And that means that it was a consenting conception of 5 sons. Yeah. 5 sons, yeah, that are in the wrong grades, because of the fraud of issuing a dissolution of marriage where the marriage certificate was from the United Nations. Now, I know you're saying that, but is he going to get to a point? I mean, I just sat down here. Oh, because I am. See, when you have consensual sex with your spouse, with the understanding that if we conceive a child, we are going to parent that child. It's more than just the sex of the marriage. It's a realization of consensual conception. That's right. We consented to conceive right now. We both wanted to have children. Now, along the lines of parenting, there's what's known as the home. Oh, have you ever heard of the actual location where the consensual conception and birth of children are? Yes. Where you agree to pay for housing. Yeah. Not just as a biological father, but because you give me actual notice of court hearings. Yes. You give me every signed document that was admitted to the court as the reason for the dissolution of marriage. You make sure that I have a copy of the dissolution of marriage. See, I consented to having sex with my wife for 10 years because we're married. Yeah. I consented to supporting my sons because of marriage. Yes. Now, to not give me actual notice of court hearings because of some bullshit about me being crazy. Yes. Yeah. I was a consenting adult father that did agree to marriage. Yes. We were married in Kosovo. Yes. And she filed for dissolution of marriage when she got to Clallam County. Now, she got here on July 8th. Consenting marriage, consensual sex, consenting conception. Pooh. See, this concept of freedom of choice. Yes. I'm familiar with Roe versus Wade, a woman's right to choose. Yeah. I never discouraged my wife from having kids. I did want all five sons. Now, you make the choice to terminate a pregnancy or keep a pregnancy. There's consensual sex, and then there's consenting conception. Oh, and then you made the choice as a woman to take the baby to your house. Yes, because you decided you were going to give birth. And when you decided you were going to give birth, you decided you were going to take the baby home. Now, this idea of a dissolution of marriage with children, yes, yes, yes. I printed off from the state of Washington, yes, case number 12-3-00217-3. Yes. Now, the actual file date was May 24th of 2012. Do you know who the babies went home with when they were born? They went home with me. See, consensual sex in marriage means that I decided I would house them because all five of them went home with me. They went to my house. It's real nice in Roe versus Wade that women have the right to the decision of what they do with their bodies. But what they do with what comes out of their bodies is also their decision. And they decided to take the baby home. Now, I decided to be at the birth of all five of my sons, and I drove them back to our house because I am the father of five sons. Now, this dissolution of marriage with children, yes. She filed this on May 24th of 2012. You see where it says Paul Chad Budnick is the respondent? Yes. Heidi Lee Budnick as the petitioner? Yes. Guess who it was that took the baby home? We did. Oh. Now, when somebody files for dissolution of marriage, case information cover sheet, there is an obligation to make sure that both parents get notice of court hearings. Because I'll go through the email right now. When I consented to marriage and I consented to conception, I consented to parenting, but I did not consent for you to issue a fucking dissolution of marriage without any notice of court hearings, without any of the documentation that was admitted to the court as the evidence for why you justified giving a dissolution of marriage. Now, she took it upon herself to petition for a dissolution of marriage. Yes. She issued a summons for myself. Yes. She had a little confidential report in a sealed envelope. Probably had something to do with the arrest that took place on Guam. Yep. Affidavit declaration regarding me being a service member of the United States military. Okay. And a financial declaration where she said, I made all the financial decisions for 10 years of marriage. And I'm the one liable for the $180,000 worth of unsecured debt. And I'm the one that's to blame for the loss of the house as a foreclosure. Yes. And I'm the one. Now, proposed parenting plan. What did she propose? She had full custody of all five of my sons right now. Wasn't that what she proposed? She had all the custody, she had all holidays. Every decision was hers. Child support worksheets? Yeah. hmm And then sheriff's return of service on May 31st of 2012. That's probably the return of service where you arrested me at the same moment as serving me. Yes. Now, I was not able to respond to the dissolution of marriage because of the false allegations of violating the protection order. Right. I wasn't. Now, she decides, shares return of service on 6/4. Right. Children in the middle class on June 26th of 2012. Approximately a month after filing for dissolution of marriage, she herself did take the children in the middle class. Yeah. Was it herself or was it her twin? I'm going to need the signatures of all the documents from Healthy Families of Clallam County. Yes. And I'm going to want to know in this contrived fraud. Yes. Are any of the signatures right now? Because I'm going to sue Healthy Families of Clallam County for being complicit in the fraud of issuing any documentation where it's not the actual signature of my wife. Now, I told Healthy Families of Clallam County, I told them they're getting sued, yes, for being the domestic violence advocacy charity of Clallam County, yes, and refusing to acknowledge that my son's graduating from high school is a domestic violence problem. Now, I'm going to call you right back, okay?